Narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional and psychological manipulation. It is insidious and often difficult to recognize. Abusers prioritize their needs and desires above all else. They lack empathy and exploit others for personal gain. Narcissistic abuse can occur in any relationship. This includes romantic partnerships, families, friendships, and workplaces. Victims often feel trapped and alone. They question their sanity and self-worth. The impact of narcissistic abuse can be devastating. It affects victims long after the relationship ends. Understanding the dynamics of narcissistic abuse is crucial. It helps victims recognize the signs and seek help. The narcissistic abuse cycle begins with idealization. This is the phase where everything seems perfect, almost too good to be true. During this stage, the abuser showers the victim with attention. They go out of their way to make the victim feel like the center of their universe. They offer excessive compliments and grand gestures. These actions are designed to sweep the victim off their feet, creating a whirlwind romance. The abuser creates an illusion of a perfect relationship. Lavish dates, thoughtful surprises, and constant affirmations make the victim believe they are in a fairy tale. Victims feel special, loved, and valued. They are led to believe that they have found the perfect partner who understands and cherishes them. They believe they have found their soulmate. The connection feels deep and genuine, as if they have finally met the one person who completes them. The abuser mirrors the victim's interests and personality. They pretend to share the same hobbies, values, and dreams, making the victim feel an even stronger bond. This deepens the connection and builds trust. The victim feels understood and accepted, which makes them more vulnerable to the abuser's tactics. However, this intense attention is a calculated tactic. The abuser is not genuinely interested in the victim's well-being, but is setting the stage for future manipulation. The abuser uses it to gain control and manipulate the victim. By creating a sense of dependency, the victim becomes more susceptible to the abuser's demands and control. The idealization stage sets the stage for the abuse that follows. Once the victim is hooked, the abuser begins to reveal their true nature. It creates a stark contrast that makes the devaluation phase even more impactful. The sudden shift from adoration to criticism leaves the victim confused and hurt, making it harder for them to break free from the cycle. As the relationship progresses, the devaluation stage begins. This is a critical phase where the dynamics start to shift dramatically. What once seemed like a perfect relationship begins to show signs of strain and tension. The abuser's mask starts to slip. The charming facade they once presented begins to crumble, revealing their true nature. They become critical, judgmental, and controlling. Every action and decision of the victim is scrutinized and often met with harsh criticism. The victim becomes a target for the abuser's insecurities and frustrations. The abuser projects their own issues onto the victim, making them feel responsible for the abuser's unhappiness. The abuser may belittle the victim's accomplishments. Achievements that were once celebrated are now dismissed or ridiculed, leaving the victim feeling undervalued. They may make them feel inadequate and unworthy. The constant barrage of negative comments erodes the victim's self-esteem and confidence. Gaslighting is a common tactic. The abuser manipulates the victim's perception of reality, making them doubt their own experiences and memories. The abuser denies the victim's reality and makes them question their sanity. This psychological manipulation leaves the victim feeling lost and disoriented. The victim feels confused and hurt. The emotional turmoil becomes overwhelming, and they struggle to make sense of the situation. They try harder to please the abuser and regain their approval. Desperate for the affection and validation they once received, the victim goes to great lengths to appease the abuser. This only strengthens the abuser's control and feeds their need for power. The more the victim tries to please, the more the abuser tightens their grip. The victim becomes trapped in a cycle of trying to earn back the love and admiration they once received. This cycle of emotional abuse is difficult to break, leaving the victim feeling hopeless and trapped in a never-ending loop of despair. The discard phase is the final stage of the narcissistic abuse cycle. It is a heart-wrenching and often bewildering experience for the victim who has already endured the roller coaster of idealization and devaluation. The abuser discards the victim when they no longer serve their purpose. This can be triggered by the victim standing up for themselves or simply because the abuser has found a new source of narcissistic supply. This often happens abruptly and without explanation. The victim is left in a state of shock, trying to comprehend what went wrong, often blaming themselves for the sudden abandonment. The abuser may move on to a new source of narcissistic supply. This new person is often unaware of the abuser's true nature and is drawn in by their charm and charisma, just as the previous victim once was. They leave the victim feeling devastated and abandoned. The emotional toll is immense as the victim grapples with feelings of worthlessness and confusion. The discard is a calculated move. The abuser knows exactly what they are doing and aims to inflict maximum pain to maintain their sense of power and control. It aims to inflict maximum pain and maintain the abuser's power. The abuser thrives on the victim's suffering as it reinforces their own superiority and control. The victim is left to pick up the pieces of their shattered self-esteem. They may question their own worth and struggle to rebuild their sense of identity. They struggle to make sense of what happened. The memories of the good times are tainted by the harsh reality of the abuse, leaving the victim in a state of emotional turmoil. It's important to note that the cycle of idealization, devaluation, and discard can repeat. The abuser may return, offering apologies and promises of change, only to repeat the cycle once again. The abuser may return with apologies and promises to change. They may use charm and manipulation to convince the victim to take them back, only to resume the cycle of abuse. However, this is often a ploy to regain control and continue the abuse. The victim must recognize the pattern and seek support to break free from the toxic cycle. The impact of narcissistic abuse on mental health. Narcissistic abuse can have severe and long-lasting effects on mental health. Victims often experience a range of symptoms. These include low self-esteem, where constant criticism and manipulation erode the victim's self-worth. Anxiety and depression are also common, as the emotional roller coaster of the abuse cycle can lead to feelings of hopelessness. Additionally, the trauma of narcissistic abuse can trigger post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, which is characterized by flashbacks, nightmares, and hypervigilance. Recognizing the signs, a path to healing. Recognizing the signs of narcissistic abuse is the first step toward healing. If you're experiencing any of the following, it's crucial to seek help. Feeling like you're walking on eggshells around your partner, constantly being criticized or put down, being gaslighted or having your reality denied, feeling isolated from friends and family, or experiencing extreme mood swings or unpredictable behavior from your partner. Seeking support and breaking free. Breaking free from narcissistic abuse is a challenging but essential step towards healing. Here are some ways to seek support. Reach out to a therapist. A therapist specializing in trauma or abuse can provide guidance and support. Join a support group. Connecting with others who have experienced narcissistic abuse can provide validation and a sense of community. Educate yourself. Learning about narcissistic abuse can help you understand the dynamics and develop strategies for coping. Rebuilding self-esteem and trust. Rebuilding self-esteem and trust is crucial after experiencing narcissistic abuse. This is a gradual process that requires patience and self-compassion. Focus on your strengths and accomplishments. Surround yourself with supportive people who value and appreciate you. Engage in activities that bring you joy and help you reconnect with yourself. Remember that healing is possible. With time and support, you can reclaim your life and build healthy, fulfilling relationships. Empowering yourself and moving forward. Narcissistic abuse is a pervasive form of emotional and psychological manipulation. It can have devastating effects on victims. Understanding the stages of the narcissistic abuse cycle is crucial for recognizing the signs and seeking help. Remember that you are not alone. By seeking support, educating yourself, and prioritizing your well-being, you can break free from the cycle of abuse and embark on a journey of healing and empowerment.